What if I told you the worst interview of your life could turn into the best thing that ever happened to you? Stay with me because what happened next will completely change how you see rejection. So picture this. A young guy walks out of a billionaire CEO's office thinking he just bombed the biggest opportunity of his entire life. His hands are shaking, his shirt's drenched in sweat, and he's replaying every awkward answer he gave during that interview. He's convinced it's over, done, finished. But here's the thing, that CEO saw something in him that he couldn't see in himself. And what happens next is going to blow your mind, because it has nothing to do with qualifications, experience, or even what he said in that room. It's about something way more powerful. Let me take you back to where this all started. This guy, let's call him Jake, had been working dead-end jobs for 3 years after college. He studied business, had decent grades, nothing spectacular, but he had this fire in him. He wanted to build something, create something, make an impact. The problem, nobody was giving him a shot. Every company he applied to either ghosted him or sent him those copy-paste rejection emails that make you feel like you're not even a real person. Then one day, out of nowhere, he gets an email. It's from the executive assistant of Marcus Chen, the CEO of a tech company worth over $2 billion. They want him to come in for an interview. Jake almost deleted it thinking it was spam. But it wasn't, it was real. Someone had recommended him through a connection he didn't even know he had. He had exactly 4 days to prepare. Now here's where it gets interesting. Jake spent those 4 days doing what most people do. He memorized answers to common interview questions. He researched the company until his eyes hurt. He bought a new suit he couldn't really afford. He practiced his handshake in the mirror. He did everything by the book. But when he walked into that office on the 5th floor of a glass building downtown, all that preparation went straight out the window. Marcus Chen wasn't what Jake expected. Most billionaire CEOs you see in movies are cold, calculated, intimidating. Marcus was different. He was wearing jeans and a plain black shirt. He had this calm energy about him. He didn't even sit behind his desk. He sat across from Jake in 2 chairs by the window, like they were just 2 people having coffee, and that's exactly what threw Jake off. The interview started normal enough. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this position? What are your strengths? Jake gave his rehearsed answers, but he could tell something was off. Marcus wasn't really listening to the words. He was studying Jake, reading him. And then Marcus asked a question that Jake wasn't ready for. Forget everything you prepared. I don't care about that. Tell me about a time you failed at something that really mattered to you, and what you learned when you were at your lowest point. Jake froze. His mind went blank. All those practiced answers, useless. He sat there in silence for what felt like an hour but was probably only 15 seconds. And then instead of giving some polished response, he did something unexpected. He told the truth. He told Marcus about his first startup attempt right after college. How he and 2 friends tried to build an app that was supposed to help local businesses connect with customers. How they worked on it for 8 months, poured every dollar they had into it, stayed up until 3 in the morning coding and designing. How they finally launched it and got exactly 11 downloads in the first month. 10 of those were from family members. How his friends quit and moved on to real jobs. How he felt like a complete failure and had to move back in with his parents at 23 years old. But here's what Jake said that changed everything. He looked Marcus right in the eye and said, I learned that failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you cared enough to try. And I'd rather fail at something I believe in than succeed at something that doesn't matter. The room went quiet. Marcus just nodded slowly. Then he stood up, shook Jake's hand, and said, We'll be in touch. That was it. Interview over. Jake walked out of that building feeling like he just crashed and burned. He replayed the whole thing in his head on the subway ride home. Why did he tell that story? Why didn't he say something more professional? He should have talked about leadership or problem solving or literally anything else. He was convinced he'd never hear from them again. 3 days went by, nothing. A week, still nothing. Jake started applying to other jobs again, trying to move on. He told his friends the interview was a disaster. He told his parents not to get their hopes up. He accepted that he blew his one big chance. Then 2 weeks later, his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something told him to pick up. It was Marcus Chen, not his assistant. Marcus himself. Jake, I wanted to call you personally. I've interviewed 47 people for this position over the last 3 months. Lawyers, MBAs from top schools, people with 10 years of experience. Every single one of them gave me perfect answers. They told me exactly what they thought I wanted to hear. You know what they didn't give me? The truth. You were the only person who sat in that chair and showed me who you actually are. That takes guts. That takes character. And that's something I can't teach. Jake didn't know what to say. Marcus continued. I'm not offering you the position you interviewed for. I'm offering you something better. I want you to work directly with me as my special projects lead. You'll learn this business from the inside out. You'll make mistakes, and I expect you to learn from them. But I believe in betting on people who've been knocked down and got back up. Those are the ones who build something real. Jake accepted on the spot. He started 3 weeks later. And here's the crazy part. Within 2 years, he helped Marcus launch a new division of the company that generated over $50 million in revenue. He didn't do it because he had the most experience or the best resume. He did it because he was authentic, because he wasn't afraid to be vulnerable, and because he understood that failure is just part of the process. Now I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a movie, like one of those feel-good stories that doesn't happen in real life. But it does happen. More than you think. There's actually research on this. A study from Harvard Business School found that employers value authenticity and self-awareness just as much as technical skills, especially for leadership roles. Another study showed that 78% of CEOs say they'd rather hire someone with potential and the right attitude than someone with perfect qualifications and the wrong mindset. Here's what most people don't understand about interviews, about opportunities, about life, really. Everyone's so focused on being perfect that they forget to be real. We spend so much time trying to hide our failures, our struggles, our messy parts, that we end up looking like everyone else. And when you look like everyone else, you disappear. You become forgettable. Jake didn't get that job because he had all the answers. He got it because he was brave enough to not have all the answers. He showed Marcus something that can't be faked. Genuine human experience, resilience, and honest self-reflection. Those are the things that actually matter when someone's deciding who they want to build something with. And that CEO, Marcus, he knew what he was doing. He wasn't just filling a position. He was looking for someone who understood what it meant to fall down and get back up. Because that's what building a business is. That's what life is. It's not about never failing. It's about what you do after you fail. So if you're sitting there thinking you're not qualified enough, not experienced enough, not good enough, stop. Your story, your struggles, the things you think are weaknesses, those might be exactly what someone's looking for. The world doesn't need more people pretending to be perfect. It needs more people brave enough to be real. Jake thought he lost everything walking out of that interview. Turns out he found exactly what he was looking for. He just didn't know it yet. If this story hit you different, there's another one you need to see next.